Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hello everyone, my name is Selvi, Septiani, Amalia, and today I'm excited to present my topic for this assignment, which is about listening. This subject is not only relevant to our studies but also plays a significant role in our everyday lives. I hope to share some interesting insights and findings that will deepen our understanding. So let's jump right in and explore listening together. Thank you for your attention. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, when we think we are listening carefully, we usually grasp only 50% of what we hear. After 24 hours, we can remember only 10% of the original message. It's little wonder that listening has been called a lost art. Listening is vital, especially today, with many digital distractions causing more mistakes in the workplace. Good listening improves efficiency, customer satisfaction, and morale, which is why effective listeners tend to advance further in their careers. Listening also impacts academic success. Now, students with strong listening skills typically perform better. Listening is essential in all areas of life, including family, work, and education. In speech classes, listening carefully to others can help improve your own speaking skills. Developing good listening habits will benefit you in countless ways throughout life. That's why listening is important. Okay, so what's the relation between listening and critical thinking? One of the ways listening can serve you is by enhancing your skills as a critical thinker. We can identify four kinds of listening. First, appreciative listening. Listening for pleasure or enjoyment, as when we listen to music, to a comedy routine, or to an entertaining speech. The second is emphatic listening. Listening to provide emotional support for the speaker, as when a psychiatrist listens to a patient or when we lend a sympathetic ear to a friend in distress. Third is comprehensive listening. Listening to understand the message of a speaker, as when we attend a classroom lecture or listen to directions for finding a friend's house. And fourth is critical listening. Listening to evaluate a message for purposes of accepting or rejecting it, as when we listen to the sales pitch of a car salesperson or the campaign speech of a political candidate. And when you engage in comprehensive listening or critical listening, you must use your mind as well as your ears. When your mind is not actively involved, you may be hearing, but you are not listening. In fact, listening and critical thinking are so closely alike that training in listening is also training how to think. However, there are four reasons for poor listening. Can you guess what these four reasons are? Let's discuss them. First, not concentrating. Poor listening happens when you don't pay enough attention to what the speaker is saying. So, there are two key factors. The first is external distractions. These include things like noise, uncomfortable temperatures, or things happening around you that draw your attention away. And the second is internal distractions. These are personal thoughts or worries that can make it hard to concentrate, like daydreaming. And what's the impact of this? When you don't listen well, you might miss important information and fail to understand the connections in the message. The second is listening too hard. This type of poor listening happens when you concentrate too much on small details and miss the main point. So there are some manifestations. The first is observing over individual facts. You get caught up in specific pieces of information. The second is trying to memorize everything. You focus on remembering every word instead of understanding the overall message. And the third is missing the broader context. You overlook the bigger picture and key ideas being presented. So, what's the consequence? As a result, you fail to understand what the speaker is really trying to say. The third is jumping to conclusions. This type of poor listening occurs when you judge the speaker of their message too quickly. So there are common triggers. There are some common triggers. The first is prejudice against the speaker. You may have a bias or dislike for the person speaking. The second is disagreement with early points. If you disagree with something the speaker says early on, you may stop listening. And the third is assumptions about the topic. You might assume you already know everything about the topic being discussed. So what's the result of this? Because of this, you close yourself off to new ideas and information. And the fourth is focusing on delivery and personal appearance. Focusing this type of poor listening happens when you get distracted by how the speaker presents themselves or looks. So there are three problematic aspects. First is fixating on accent or speaking style. You might focus too much on how the speaker sounds. The second is judging physical appearance or attire. You could be distracted by what the speaker is wearing or how they look. And the third is over-analyzing gestures and movements. You might pay too much attention to the speaker's body language instead of the message. And what's the outcome? Because of these distractions, you will end up missing important information. So, how to become a better listener? Okay, I'll give you some ways to how to improve your listening skill. First is take listening seriously. The first step toward becoming a better listener is to accord listening the seriousness it deserves. Good listeners are not born that way. They have worked at learning how to listen effectively. The second is be an active listener. Active listeners give their undivided attention to the speaker in a genuine effort to understand his or her point of view. Third is resist distractions. Fourth is don't be diverted by appearance or delivery. Fifth is suspend judgment. Means you should hear people out before reaching a final judgment. Try to understand their point of view. Listen to their ideas, examine their evidence, and assess their reasoning. Then make up your mind. Sixth is focus your listening. As we have seen, skilled listeners do not try to absorb a speaker's every word. Rather, they focus on specific things in a speech. There are three suggestions to help you focus your listening. First, listen for main points. Second, listen for evidence. And third is listen for techniques. And the last is develop note-taking skills. As you become a better note-taker, you will become a better listener. There is also good chance you will become a better student. Research confirms that students who take effective notes usually receive higher grades than those who do not. So for the conclusion, sorry, most people are poor listeners. Even when we think we are listening carefully, we usually grasp only half what we hear, and we retain even less. Improving your listening skills can be helpful in every part of your life. That's all the explanation for me. Thank you for watching this presentation. I hope the information shared was helpful and gave you new insights. If you have any questions or thoughts, feel free to share them. Thanks again for your attention and see you in the next video. Goodbye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.